In the heart of a bustling town teeming with merchants and the constant hum of trade, there lived a humble tailor named Thomas. His shop was tucked away between grand storefronts and busy market stalls, so small that most hurried passers-by barely noticed its faded sign. While the town's wealth seemed to grow with every transaction, Thomas's world was simple and modest. His garments were neither ornate nor extravagant, just sturdy threads stitched together with care and patience. Day after day, he mended the same coat for a customer, patched worn sleeves, and repaired fraying seams, earning just enough for a loaf of bread or a bowl of soup. On a biting cold morning, when frost painted delicate patterns on the glass and the wind bit through even the thickest cloak, Thomas began his daily routine. He unlocked the door to his shop, shivering slightly as he stepped inside. The shelves were sparse, the floor swept clean, and the only sound was the quiet creak of his chair. As he glanced outside, Thomas's gaze fell upon a woman huddled on the street, clutching a small child close to her chest. Their clothes were threadbare, their cheeks flushed from the cold, and their eyes darted hopefully toward the crowds. Yet no one stopped. The townspeople, busy with their own errands and ambitions, hurried past without a second glance. Thomas felt a pang in his heart. He knew hunger and cold intimately, and though his means were meager, his compassion was boundless. Without hesitation, he rummaged through his scraps and remnants, searching for anything that might offer warmth. His fingers found a piece of thick, soft cloth, and with nimble hands, he began to stitch. He worked quickly, shaping the fabric into a small cloak, sewing each seam with care and a silent wish for the child's comfort. Stepping outside, Thomas knelt beside the woman and wrapped the cloak around the child's shoulders. The child's eyes widened with wonder, and the woman's gaze filled with tears. Tears not just of gratitude, but of hope restored. She stammered, "Sir, I have no coin to pay you." But Thomas smiled gently, his eyes crinkling with kindness. "Then pay me with a blessing," he replied. From that day forward, Thomas made a quiet vow. He would offer what little he had to those who needed it most. He patched the shoes of the orphans who wandered the alleys. He shared his bread with the hungry. Often he worked late into the night, sewing garments for those who could never afford them, giving freely without expectation of reward. His acts of kindness were small, almost invisible in the grand scheme of the town's busy life, but their impact began to spread in ways he could not have imagined. One night, as candlelight flickered and the town lay silent under a blanket of stars, Thomas drifted into a deep sleep. In his dream, he found himself standing in a field of golden light. A radiant woman appeared before him, her form shimmering like dawn. Her eyes were gentle, her voice soft and melodic as she spoke. "Every act of kindness you give spins a thread, an invisible thread that connects you to others. Though unseen, it weaves a tapestry that holds the world together." Thomas awoke with the words echoing in his mind. At first, he dismissed it as a fanciful dream, but as days passed, he began to notice subtle changes. The child he had clothed grew stronger and healthier, laughter returning to his eyes. The orphans started to help one another, sharing food and comfort. Neighbors who once kept to themselves began to greet him warmly, offering smiles and small tokens of gratitude. His kindness rippled outward, touching lives in ways he never anticipated. Years rolled by, and the town continued to grow. But fate, as it often does, brought a test. One sweltering summer afternoon, a blaze erupted in the heart of the town. Flames leapt from rooftop to rooftop, devouring homes, shops, and livelihoods. Thomas's tiny workshop, filled with memories and hard-earned tools, was consumed in the inferno. He stood amidst the ashes, heartbroken and weary, watching the remnants of his life smolder and collapse. The loss was overwhelming, and for a moment he felt utterly alone. But hope was kindled in the hearts of those he had helped. As the smoke cleared, townsfolk began to gather, one by one, then in groups. The same orphans whose shoes he had patched arrived with boards and nails. The beggar woman whose child he had cloaked brought warm bread and comforting words. Neighbors carried wood, tools, and supplies. Merchants offered fabric and coin. Together they surrounded Thomas, their faces shining with resolve and gratitude. "Thomas, you stitched our lives together with kindness," they said. "Now we will stitch yours." They worked tirelessly, rebuilding his shop from the ground up. Each plank and stone was laid with love. Every stitch in the new walls echoed the kindness Thomas had shown. The new workshop was brighter and more welcoming than ever, a testament to the power of compassion and community. Thomas lived many more years, never wealthy in gold, but surrounded by friends and the warmth of a town that cherished him. He continued his quiet acts of generosity, teaching others to mend not just clothes, but broken spirits and weary hearts. When his time finally came, the townspeople gathered to honor the man who had given so much. In his shop they found something extraordinary, a tapestry unlike any they had ever seen. It shimmered with threads of light, woven into scenes of kindness and hope. Every smile, every helping hand, every act of generosity was captured in its radiant fibers. No one could recall ever seeing the tapestry before, and some whispered that it was a gift from the glowing woman of Thomas's dream, a reminder that kindness, though often invisible, endures beyond measure. As the years passed, the story of Thomas lived on. Parents told their children of the tailor who gave freely, and the tapestry became a symbol of the town's spirit. Each time someone offered help or shared a smile, they remembered Thomas and the invisible threads that connect us all. For in the end, kindness is never wasted. It ripples far beyond what we see. Even the smallest act can return to you in the moment you need it most. True wealth is not measured in gold, but in the lives you touch, and the world is held together by the gentle threads we weave every day.